Well, this seems to be a way to forge modules. I'm gonna need these. All right, let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Yes, I know, Etheria Restart. Listen, it's only fair for us to cover the big news announcement on our way out, if that's what it's going to be. We need to cover this developer update, what is next for Etheria Restart. C said some big news was coming. I want to see what the big news is here. Is this going to pivot the game into a positive direction? I don't expect this to fix the game entirely. I don't expect a lot of the lattice issues or PvP oriented issues to be fixed in here because those things are sort of intertwined, but let's see what they have to say. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt here. All right, let's check this out. We want to give you a transparent look at what is coming soon. And in this, we're going to be, it looks like, covering, yeah, I read weirdly, okay? We've seen feedback around our communication, game balance, time investment issues, okay? PvP meta, events, and much more. Major strides behind the scenes to keep improving the game using your feedback. Hey man, hopefully this is big because that's what this game needs. Let's check this out. We're committing to more active dialogue within the community. Today's post is the first, but when important opportunities arise, we'll be empowering community discussions on specific topics that we need feedback on. Well, the big one, if you did, go apologize to your man True Evil real quick. All right, I swear I hope that is that's down by now. Get that man's name out of the limelight for something he didn't do. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out the previous video on the channel. Maybe it'll be linked in the description down below. That was the dumbest thing I've seen a company do in a long time. For example, later on in this post, we'll be discussing RTA meta and your thoughts and contributions to the topic for us to read so that we don't make decisions that may be out of touch with the general player base. That's funny because, well, I think tone deaf has been the word that we've used the most on this channel. And I know tone deaf, I've seen a lot in the comments. Tone deaf, out of touch, tone deaf, you know, basically synonyms. All right, we want to be very careful towards balancing the meta. Hearing your voices in constructive detail will be very important in topics like these. Okay, let's go down here. Time sync solutions. All right, time syncs. Now, I don't think there's that much time syncing in the game as far as like active play goes. Maybe like Ethernet Rally and Ember Trek is a big time sync, especially walking around all those stupid floors, punching those dudes, opening chests. It's kind of like whatever. I know why it's in the game. It's in the game because they, outside of Ember Trek, there's nothing that shows the main character walking around outside of the story, which hasn't been updated in like 2.5 months now. So, you know, that's a thing. So time sync solutions. All right, endgame can feel like a chore sometimes, especially when there's many tasks and event activities to complete each day. I mean, this is kind of fucking funny considering that you've just reran the same events over and over and over since the launch of the game. There's been like 3 different ones, but sure, fam, you know, fire off. Our team is currently trying to figure out the best solution for this. I don't know, come out with new events so people don't get fucking bored and I pull all my front hair out. All right, especially for our long-term players. Homie, you don't have any long-term players right now. The game's been out for 2.5 months. We're exploring ways to preserve health of early game autoing. I don't know what that means. While introducing smarter, less time-intensive farming options. Is this... I've seen you guys talk about like getting full sweeps for stuff. I've never been a big advocate for that. It's fine, it's whatever. Especially with the game being able to be turned off and farm anyway. But maybe, you know, if we increase the limit, you know, to 20 while the game's off or something, sure, let's see what they say. Increasing auto clears in the early game can be risky as new players tend to be less efficient with using resources until they have more knowledge and experience. Increasing available auto clears in the early game can be, is this so like, this doesn't mean like, I don't take this as like, it's risky because they'll fail a lot, but maybe it's risky because they'll farm, you know, 20 stages or, you know, 20 farm stages or whatever too many times on the same thing and not care. Like this really honestly like doesn't matter that much. Like who cares if they're farming like 20 yellow shells if they can't farm mythic shells? Who cares if they're farming, you know, 20 EXP books or 20 materials to get your skills and abilities awakened early on? Like, are you really, is it really that risky? Also, I do think it's fucking hilarious that they It's risky that new players will be less efficient with using resources, and that's something we need to look out for while farming. But God forbid we add, SSR lattice materials, or Animus reconfiguration events a couple times for new players, because God forbid they use those resources incorrectly. I'm trying to be positive, but I think that's a little bit, a little bit of hypocrisy there. All right, if you guys have any ideas you want to consider, keep this in mind. Feel free to submit feedback threads. Sure. I don't know. Whatever, dude. Ember Trek. Many of you have been sharing feedback and commenting on your fears of having to continually repeat this game. Fears? I don't fear it, bro. I fear falling asleep, looking for the treasure chests. Repeat this game mode in the long term. We do believe having a game mode where you are able to see the main character and Shaku interact and move around is important. We also understand that some middle ground needs to be found here. Listen, fam. We called that out at the start of here, where they want to see the main character walk around. But the reason it's so grating is it's like the same 4 fucking maps. Move the elevator up or down, left or right, whatever. Open up some chests, punch some dudes in the back one time. There's a shiny glowing guy that you have to fight. Congratulations, the shiny glowing guy's like level 10. I have to sit there, watch the loading screen. He dies. I walk around. I find all the treasure chests. Shit, the gold one's off in the corner somewhere. The purple one and the blue ones are always on the path to the end. That's the whole spiel. That's the whole Ember Trek. That's how it works. All right. That's why people don't want to do it. It's boring. I'm not saying we need procedurally generated blah, 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 something. If you want to have game modes where the main character and Shaku interact and move around, I don't know. Hey, man, how about we get a new event in there where we do that, right? Walk around, do some dungeon exploration or something. I don't know, dude, whatever. But that ain't it, fam. Okay. Our current solution will be implemented next reset, the ability to auto-clear previously completed levels under the normal. All of them? You will only need to fight the last boss manually. For now, hard difficulty will still require manual gameplay. I mean, I didn't expect them to do this. Auto-clear all of normal if you've beaten it. All I would have asked for is that, the treasure chest floors will be auto-cleared. They're doing all of the bosses. I don't mind manualing the bosses or whatever. I think manualing the boss, or not manualing, but having to do the bosses even on auto mode, because they're so easy on normal mode, even on some of the hard mode fights, are so easy that I wouldn't mind doing that, sitting there for 30 seconds, once a month to clear the bosses, as long as I don't have to fucking walk around, man. So this is kind of like a halvesies solution. I like it. You're still gonna have to walk around and get the chests on hard mode for some reason. I guess because they want to have the main character walk around. I'll take it. I think it's a very good step to just have auto normal mode cleared. If I don't have to walk around Ember Trek 2 times, it's still half of what I had to walk around before. So I'm not gonna complain about that too much. But yeah, okay, we'll take that. Anti-sync echoes and Union Boss. These will now be supporting ×5 battle. Union Boss on ×5 sick. Anti-sync echoes ×5. That doesn't reset or anything, so I don't know why that got added ×5. A lot of that is I think a lot of people have to manual some of the harder anti-sync echoes, unless you're just dotting them all or something at some point in time, just doing some tank down team Shadow Sonya. Ooh, I'm going. A healthier monetization approach. I'm gonna need these. All right, let's see. We are actively working on more rewarding, player-friendly monetization options. The only thing in your shop worth buying is the $15 pack when you're a brand new player that gets you some Aurora 3-star right side modules. There's a crit chance and a crit damage Frenzy, Fury module or whatever in there. And then I think the only thing anyone else buys in your game is overpriced fucking lattices if they're whales, so they can level up one more character a month for $500. The kind of feel good to support and enhance your enjoyment of the game while also respecting your time. Future purchases will also focus more on value, choice, and utility. This is the most corporate PR. All right, some ideas we have are something that would involve both gameplay benefits and resource rewards. Yeah, dude, that's what you sell in a gacha game shop, brother. Okay, offering cheap daily stamina packs. Oh, Christ. Potential adjustments to what is currently available in our weekly shops. Feel free to suggest ideas in our feedback section as well. Actual fucking skins would be a step there. Maybe if you want to make money, listen, if you're coming from the corporate side, we're doing corporate stuff. You probably get people if you sold like a monthly resetting lattice pack for like $20 that gave like 2 or 3 lattices. I shit you not. I know when I was a new player, one of the things that I bought, I only spent like $40 in this game. 10 of it was like the battle pass. I bought the $2 or the $1 10 times summon things right away because I was like, yeah, I'll support the game. And then I think they had like a $15 lattice pack, and I was like, I can max out my character if I buy this one lattice for $15. It's way fucking expensive, but you know what? I'm enjoying your game. And I tallied it up, so like it'd be like $40, like buying a game. Sure, you can have my $15. So I personally didn't buy anything else after that, but I could see, you know, like a $20 like couple lattices in there. You'll get the dolphins in there, you get the minnows, whatever, the small spenders, buying that shit up if you're gonna not increase the lattice acquisition, which you need to do, right? But if I was to look at it from a company perspective, guys, give us ideas. How do we fucking make money? That'd be one of them. All right. Animus skins. Oh shit. We know. We know. A few unique Animus skins are already in the works. Fucking smiley face. I love that shit. All right. Well, you know what? That's the best way you can be like, yeah, we understand we only had like some color palette swaps in there. So our bad, guys. Yeah, Animus skins are cool. If you know another thing in here, skin stuff, you have like the player character skins. I think there's a lot of unique player character skins in there. If you can find out ways to incorporate the main character more, you know, like, I don't know, the fucking main story. You did some stuff in the PvP arena, where at the end of the arena, it shows the characters and stuff. If you find more ways to implement that sort of stuff to showcase the main character and the Chaku ring, you'll have more reasons to sell players skins, not just for animuses, but skins for their characters as well. Even if they're not paid skins, even if they're just, you know, I think there's a couple in there that are like 980 Hydra Crystals, 2,000 Hydra Crystals. That's still a way to drain Hydra Crystals from your players, right? It's at the end of the day, draining Hydra Crystals in some way is going to earn you money in some way, shape, or form somehow, right? Which, you know, the whole debacle about the 300 pull event with the selector box at 100, the lattice at 200, and then like the random 5-star at 300. You know, a lot of people felt bad about that because you're just draining our Hydra Crystals. But you know what? They'd feel a lot better if they were like, yeah, dude, here's a cool bitchin' skin of like, I don't know, it's someone in a biker outfit, or someone in like they did put out a swimsuit outfit for, I think, the main characters at some point after summer. Well, I guess summer's not over, but you know, stuff like that could be good too. PvP meta and real-time arena considerations. Okay, shit. Where my glasses go? All right. Flame on! Let's see what the... All right, we're going to be talking about Revelation. We're going to be talking about Revelation, and we're going to be talking about Bloodbath. I guarantee it. And I don't think buffs and nerfs are what we need to be talking about. I think there's a greater thing that I'll touch on, because they're not going to touch on what I touch on, I guarantee it. All right, PvP has been a hot topic. We're taking it seriously, as it will be a core of our game for years to come. Well, you know what? You need to be able to get more people into fucking PvP. Lattice, we'll touch on. Okay, we'll touch on this stuff later. We'll be collaborating directly with top RTA players and a wider community to evaluate and address meta concerns. Well, we know that there's probably one that's quitting your fucking game because you traded them like shit. But you know, hey, whatever. The mid-season balance patch is under heavy consideration. Although we have already stated previously we would only make an adjustment between seasons, we have already shown that just recently with Lilium that we are open to adjustments as long as it feels necessary or something has not met our design expectations. And you know what? I hope they don't get any flack for this, because the game is relatively new, and if you're trying to knee-jerk change things based on some player feedback, this is overpowered, this is underpowered, blah 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 blah. What you have to understand is, I'm going to talk about it now. The lattice shortage, whether you're talking about purple lattices or you're talking about really the SSR lattices, really puts a fucking stranglehold on your PvP environment. The way that players have to approach PvE puts a stranglehold on your PvP environment. If I can't lattice up important abilities and cooldown reductions and bonus stats for my 5-star characters, guess what? I'm going to have less health, I'm going to have less defense, I might have less speed, I might not have the cooldowns I want, I might not have the percentage bonuses I want, I might not have the percentage damage reduction, I might not have the percentage healing received or the percentage healing for my team. or I might not be able to consistently put up Dreamweave as much as I want, or some other buff, right? Because that is how you have those characters designed. And if I can only build 5 or 6 characters fully skilled out and awakened, or most of their kit awakened and skilled up, when I go to draft an RTA, those are the 5 characters that I have in my pool that I can put a team and build around in picks and bans. Do I have some, shittier gear? And this comes back to the economy as well, right? It's cool that we have loadouts for PvE. I can swap between and use my best gear and all the PvE stuff, and it helps for aggression a little bit. I understand, that's why we did it. But at the end of the day, if you want PvP to be a core component of your game, it does not help me that I can swap around, the best 30 pieces of gear I have around my characters that I've leveled up for PvE when I go into a draft environment. You want to know why? I can't swap that gear on the fly, and please God, do not be like, all right, after you do picks and bans, you can swap your gear around. No, I need to have the ability to have somewhat decent gear, somewhat decent shells, somewhat decent investment in all of my characters that I want to draft with. Am I going to have all of them? No, do not comment that, he just wants every fucking thing. No, but we need to have the ability to have not just one pickable roster, right? At least 10 characters. You go play any other game like Epic 7, dude. If you go into an Epic 7 Reddit and you're like, all right, I want to do RTA for like the first time. What's the main thing you guys should I do before I go in there? And it's not get 4 fucking characters or 5 characters you can play with. It's get 10 to 12 that have different roles that you can select. Why? Because some of them are going to get banned. Some of them are going to get picked by your opponent. Some of them are going to get post-banned. And you can't just run and be like, all right, well, I have one pickable DPS character and a bunch of supports, and then that character either gets picked by your opponent or banned a bunch, right? So that all comes into full circle, putting a constraint on the meta, right? We saw it in the first couple weeks. Oh my God, it's Lily, Massia, Cleave, and if I don't pick it, my opponent picks it, and I don't have a counter to it because I don't have characters for it, and I can't ban it, and I can't do it myself. And they also picked my Doki Doki lineup. The only characters I have leveled were Freya and Doki and Remoloka and Massia and Sleepy Hands, Kazuya the Reverie, right? Or, there was like a handful of characters everyone had leveled because that's what they had to level for PvE. So when they went into PvP, that's all they had to pick. And it was just like the most wild bullshit. So you need to ease up on the way that people can get into PvP, and that'll help balance PvP RTA somewhat, because people will have a bigger pool of characters to build and come up with counters for and do a bunch of cool stuff. That being said, holy shit, let's get in here. All right, I went on a wild tangent, kind of covered the thing I wanted to cover at the end in the middle of the video. Sorry for that, but you know what? It makes sense. All right, our last season, oh shit, we had a nerf to Revelation due to many complaints about it feeling unfun and demotivating for our players, especially in lower ranks of RTA. This goes back to just what we were saying, dude. If people were having Freya 4-hit, Kazuya the Reverie 3-hit AoE, you had RC77 in there as an SR character that didn't really need any lattice investment to do 4 hits, slap Revelation on that SOB. A bunch of those characters out there. Just slap Revelation on them, do a bunch of damage for free. Just get some speed on them, zoom, zoom, zoom. A lot of low investment characters that you could do well with in picks and bans. And shit on everybody. And people were like, well, I can't counter this because they picked the characters that I had to level, and I can't do that either. And the damage is just too high, and there wasn't a lot of answers for it because you kind of needed speed to fight speed in a lot of ways. And Tank Down just really wasn't that good. Although this change was heavily requested within the community, listen, there's always going to be a vocal minority in any group, all right? So the people that you hear the most might not always be correct. The people you want to listen to are those who can come in with solid arguments and break it down, not just like, oh, I get outsped and die, this sucks. Could that be a valid argument? Yeah. But if someone has like a top RTA player, like you're talking about, that can break it down as to the benefits and the downsides of having that within your game, you can take that information, compare it to other people who are breaking it down. They don't necessarily have to be a top RTA player, but who can do a compelling argument for you or in the community. That's just what content creation is about, is compelling arguments. And then you can take that data, that feedback, and make the decision yourselves as a company. All right, we've seen that already. You're fine with making the decision to not increase lattices, no matter the wide outcry about that, right? So you can do that about nerfs and bans as well. Nerfs and bans, picks and bans, not nerfs and buffs. Unfortunately, sometimes during testing, we may not always be able to predict exactly how the meta with hundreds of thousands of players will develop. I'm not going to go over that again. Giving us a sign that we need to be more directly involved with our player base when making the decisions. Many would argue the current meta is much less engaging than the previous season. Dude, it's feast, it's famine and famine. It's 0-second matches or 20-minute matches, right? And we want to fix this as soon as possible if no solutions are being found and what tools are currently available. They're about to talk about fucking Bloodbath. Given that, we encourage that to create feedback posts, giving your thoughts about what potential mid-season balance patch should look like. We appreciate input from both high-level players and those who are more casual. Let us know what your experience feels like in detail and what rank you are when creating a thread on this topic. We are open to exploring and considering many ideas, whether it be something like nerfing Bloodbath slightly in PvP only, good, buffing unused DPS shells, or even something like reverting our previous Revelation nerf if it is requested enough. All right, so we'll read this last one here before we go into this gear customization. Long term, we want PvP to feel fair, dynamic, and rewarding at every level. Yeah, obviously. We're aware that the gap can be quite steep for the average player wanting to compete in RTA. That's why you need to ease your fucking PvE requirements, drops, RNG, bullshit. So many of our upcoming changes and general focus will be directly aimed at helping players reach a competitive level. Let's hope so. We know that our casual players tend to not have enough time to grind and compete at a high level this early in the game, especially when our content can be quite challenging, but we are hoping some of these upcoming changes can help accelerate this at a healthy level. All right. You know that casual players, listen, it's not even just casual players, it's people who like, even if you're a hardcore motherfucker and you can farm Inferno, it doesn't mean you're getting the drops. It doesn't mean you have enough currency to speed check everything or substat check everything is really the correct term at this point in time, because like you're not really speed checking, your substat checking gear. The drops are just too few and far between at a certain point. You just like get to Inferno, Hell 4, you farm a little bit, and you're like, all right, well now I got a couple usable things because I had nothing before. So like, oh, I got like a couple of things. This is usable. And then upgrades are like so far and few between, like immediately, because the drop rates are just so fucking bad. Whether it's shells or whether it's gear. And hopefully we'll talk about, they'll have an answer for that right here. So, and then you also know that our content can be quite challenging. Like, you know, you want it to be a PvP focused game. You can have challenging PvE content, but your challenging PvE content should not be your farming content. It really, really shouldn't. Unless it's like unless you have like a limited time, not like a limited time, I take that back, but like a limited clear. Like maybe you can do something like 10 times a month and it's like its own content and it's really hard and it always gives you super awesome stuff. If you're coming from like, or it has like a much higher rate of giving you some super awesome stuff. We're talking about like Trial of the Constellations, Hell Raid, or whatever from like Epic 7, right? Like a monthly thing that resets and you can get like really good gear and stuff from that. You can put something like that into the game as permanent end-game content like you have with some of the other stuff you have. Like Anti-Sync doesn't reset, but like Ember Trek could reward gear. The other thing, I always forget the name of it, can reward gear. I always want to call it Etheria, but that's the PvP. So that's a thing. The other thing here, nerfing Bloodbath slightly in PvP only. I think the Revelation Bloodbath PvP damage thing is more than just those things. It's not that Revelation did too much damage, and it's not that Bloodbath specifically reduces too much damage, although it kind of does. Ultimately, what we have is the game just allows you to just do too much damage in PvP for very little effort. If you're thinking about, if you're coming from other games, I'm always going to reference Epic 7. If you were to like at the start of the game, like cleave somebody, to like take someone out, one shot them, you would want to like attack buff your DPS, defense break the enemy team, and then you could maybe, you know, get them with that clean, nice little one-shot. I outsped you. You had no answers for it, no mitigation on your team, no Aureus, no invincibility, no blue Elena, no any of these answers that popped up, right? But you wouldn't just like one-shot, you know, big tanks just doing damage, because we didn't have characters that like pen to 70% defense or pen to 100% defense. You would have to line up and actually do a nice clean cleave with your open or attack buffing and getting in there. Right now, you can just be like, yeah, I have Lily, Revelation, everyone's dead, right? With Yeli or something, or Masya. It's very easy to do. And a lot of this is we just do too much damage because PvE requires us to just do fuck tons of damage, right? So like if you know, a character's doing 100,000, 120,000 damage a hit in PvE because they have attack buff and the thing's defense broken or whatever, even then, you know, you can go into guild boss or something, just any generic PvE thing without defense break, and just see how hard your DPS characters hit. They're hitting for 40,000, 50,000, no attack buff, no defense break. No one's gonna survive that. That's just way too much damage being dealt through the damage formula. The bosses just have HP inflation out the ass, and you're allowing people, and the game's just been designed to do ass tons of damage. So when you take that into a PvP scenario where like the average person, unless they're like a 60k HP Tiamat, has 25, 30, 35,000 health, maybe they're like 40k HP, you still die in 1 to 2 hits, even with the 30% damage reduction from the Etheria debuff. There's just way too much fucking damage in the game. And the reason that Revelation was OP is it also allowed anyone to just do extra amounts of damage. It allowed you to just cleave very, very easily, right? Without having attack, without having a necessary defense break. So the counter to that was after Revelation got nerfed, we were finally able, with Bloodbath specifically, to try to limit the damage. And honestly, a lot of the times, dude, I'll run through Bloodbath users all the time. I'll use Lilium in AI Arena, just like Lilium. I'll have an attack buffer. Usually, I'll just slam Sleepy Hands in there, or not Sleepy Hands, Sleepy Girl Valerian in there, and then I'll do like a Swift Rush Harvest Yeli. That's like 270 speed, and I'll just outspeed. Use Lily to push Yeli with Revelation still. And yeah, Bloodbath reduces the damage by a ton, but guess what? And then someone gets low, Lilium stuns them, you guys all skip the team or whatever, most of them skip. I'll kill the one person who can cleanse them, right? And then I'll just do it again and cleave them again, and Bloodbath still doesn't stop that. It's too much damage. Different in RTA, because I'm not going to get that picks and bans lineup all the time, obviously. But it just shows you just how easy it still is to just do way too much fucking damage, even through all these nerfs. And I don't feel like nerfing Bloodbath slightly in PvP only is the thing to do that. I don't know the damage formula for characters offhand, but I do know that there's just too much damage in this game already for PvP to sort of just, you know, feel balanced enough. Because you can see that there's just too much damage, even if you're not trying to cleave somebody. Like, you have Holden. You know, we just got all the defense buffs. Holden and Mizuki and stuff. They can punch, you know, they can punch people that aren't on Bloodbath for like 15, 20,000 damage. Just like, gone, you know, I self-defense buff, or I defense buff my team, and bam, I got you, dude. Artisan proc, sorry, dude. That's so much fucking damage. That's crazy amounts of damage. You know, we're one-shotting each other without Bloodbath, even through the 30% damage reduction in Etheria. So I don't know what to do to solve that. You know, I'm just kind of spitballing here. I do know that it's probably, in my opinion, a problem. And maybe something in there where you do slightly nerf Bloodbath could be part of the solution. Maybe you slightly nerf Bloodbath, but you also increase the damage reduction of the Etheria effect. Maybe bump that up to like 50% and buff it up to like 60%. Why would you do that when the Bloodbath user in combination with the buffed Etheria effect is kind of the same already? Well, it increases or decreases the damage that the non-Bloodbath users take as well. So it's not just Bloodbath only in the meta, right? So if I'm on Bloodbath and you're not on Bloodbath right now, I can have my Holden punch your DPS, your support character, for like their entire fucking HP bar. because I still do too much damage, even though I'm on a defensive setup. After that change, where they slightly nerf Bloodbath, but they also decrease the damage from like 30% to like 55% from the Etheria effect, I'm still about the same on Bloodbath, but I also do less damage to you because of the Etheria effect, and I might not just one-shot your DPS character or your support character just because like you couldn't one-shot me, I get to one-shot you back, sort of thing. And then Bloodbath v Bloodbath would probably end up about the same, right? So that's just like a spitball there, who knows, but there's definitely something that needs to be done there about that. All right, moving on, gear customization and upgrades. Making a big change how you can build and equip your characters. The module essence shop is being overhauled to more flexibility. I mean, honestly, awesome, great. You know, if you didn't use any of your module essence, God bless, you're getting a big benefit here. In addition to the random way to obtain modules in the module shop, in the future players can also buy modules with confirmed main attributes and sub attributes. Okay, so this one here, outside of the module currency that we've gotten from the poll event, I don't know if there's been any other free ways to get module currency outside of like the free little bit they give you for doing Inferno for the first time or whatever. This will be cool if you give away more free module essence. If you don't, well, you can make the game more pay to win because you were asking for other ways to make money. So there's one for you, the healthy monetization approach. Buy gear. Please don't do that, but there's also that it exists. That's gonna make more money for them. This is a way for them to make more money, which, whatever, speak your piece on that down below. That's just what's gonna happen. A new gear crafting system is wrapping up development and will be included in an upcoming patch. Designed to give you greater control over your builds without relying on RNG alone. Thank God. This system will be released to players as an event, which will routinely occur at least once per month. Oh shit. It's an event. Okay. More information on these changes soon. So it's not a permanent addition. Okay. Module Forge. I mean, okay. You get to select an actual straight up. This is straight up gear crafting. Oh shit, it costs currency though. Uh-oh. Okay. Module Forge, all right? You can select your main stat and, oh God, your base attribute. Do you get to pick substats? I know ain't no one picked the substat of F-res, F accuracy on Battle Wheel over here, so not a lot of information here. Refined attributes. Reconfigure attributes. Okay, they're just showing screenshots. Okay, so I can't really speak on this a lot. I'm not gonna say it's great. I'm not gonna say it's awful. It does look like you get to pick a main stat and then it comes with random substat rolls. And it looks like you can maybe base attribute, refined attribute. You can change the substats. You can change the substats to other random substats and then just roll it later. I guess is what I'm getting from this. Base attributes, refined attributes. I honestly reconfigure and it costs this current. I don't know. I can't piece that together, so I'm not gonna knock on that too hard or say that it's saving the game because this is just, there's no context here. All right, Inferno Rengokutsu, help is on the way. All right, dude. The most complained about boss I see on the internet. We know Inferno Rengo has been a wall for many of you, and we're addressing it directly. Oh God, a new... What? We're addressing it directly. A new banner is coming. Holy shit. A new banner is coming that features a character specifically designed to help crush Rengokutsu and other challenging PvE content. Jesus Christ. Forgive me. Oh my God. Each animus has been tested in various ways specifically against Rengokutsu. We have found the content. There will be multiple strategies and synergies available with their kits. For example, try them out with Lilium! Is this reaction of mine wrong? Am I wrong to feel this way? Did I misread this? Do I have some sort of like deep-seated hatred? Am I reading it, or does this just come off like the most fucking tone-deaf thing? Just in the way that it's portrayed. We're addressing it directly. Pull for new characters. Fuck me. Okay. Oh, that's another thing I want to talk about though, real quick, with Lilium. Talking about nerfing Bloodbath and stuff up here. In my opinion, the big change to Lilium that was like a knee-jerk reaction to the Bloodbath meta was the 100% HP injury. If they do go back and they don't figure it out right, and they leave the 100% injury thing, and you're allowed to just do more damage with Lilium, I think they might have to take that away from her. I could be wrong. She was, in my opinion, I thought she was already really strong, but if they allow her to do all of her damage as injury, that might be too powerful. Because then it's like, even if I don't one-shot you, you're left at like, oh no, 1,000 max HP, you know, or 2,000. You'll just die to something no matter what. I could be wrong about that, but that might be something they have to go back and take away. And if they, for the health of the game, honestly. And if they do that, I don't think they can do that because it would be a giant fucking uproar. So I don't know. Global launch celebration. We skipped one. Future events. We have seen your feedback. I am recording, thank God. We've seen your feedback regarding recent events. I want you to know we are listening. Many players were discussing the dissatisfaction with RNG in our latest Dreamscape event. It wasn't just the RNG, man. That whole event was just kind of like a cluster shit, dude. Like, stop putting shops that people can't clear out. It makes them feel bad. Stop being like, oh, here's all this shit you can get, and if you want to, you can give us 300 hydro crystals for a key and all this other stuff. And it just was bad all around. It wasn't just the RNG. It just felt scumtastic, right? Although there were many players who were able to receive incredible rewards. Of course you'd fucking say that. We understand that this is not... Hey man, if you threw 500,000 hydro crystals at the event, dude, you got incredible rewards. We understand this is not the case for everybody. Not every player likes taking risks. This is the most company PR. And those who would prefer to play it safe should have fixed reward options that do not rely on RNG. In the next run of Dreamscape event, oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Come up with a new event! We will make sure to include fixed reward options for these players. That's gonna blow up in their face. I'm just letting you know now. This will not go over well. Okay, because for the people who keep saying they do the math, they never fucking do the math. And the fixed reward options, will be less than the average of just doing the RNG bullshit. Probably. Or hear me out, there'll be fixed reward options in the shop instead of boxes that you can buy, but you also won't be able to clear the fucking shop out. I'm just letting you know now. That's what's going to happen. All right. Global launch just around the corner. It's going to be massive. Our game is officially available in many more parts of the world. Oh no. Stay tuned for competitively against players like China, Japan, South Korea, and more. Guys, I'm letting you know right now, you bring this game out right now in the state that it is in China or South Korea, bro, you are going to get fucking dumpstered on. I am just letting you know. I am just letting you know that the US, for all the shit we've given you, we always come, in my experience, from a more not level-headed, not gracious. We're more nice about it, right? We might say mean things, but our constructive might be the word, right? A lot of it might be constructive. Sure, there's gonna be people, oh, I don't get everything. Oh my God, blah, blah, blah. These people will blow you up. Like, go look at the E7 the E7 trucks in Korea, bro. Listen, dude. You offend the gacha gaming community in South Korea, the whales will hire fucking trucks, right? And plaster your CEO's face around the trucks, calling you a piece of shit, calling your company greedy, and circle their building with multiple trucks for days because they'd rather spend their money doing that and just literally roasting you in real life than they would give you money anymore until you change their shit. They will psychic warfare you. You will take psychic damage in real life. You will take actual psychic damage. You cannot resist. It's like It's like Phantom Force, bro. You cannot protect, okay?
Shadow Force you cannot protect.
Now, we will make sure you guys are pleased with the rewards. It's a celebration after all. I'm just forewarning you, man, all right? Stay tuned for the exact dates and how to claim all the upcoming rewards. Perfect time to bring in new friends and returning players to jump back in. Dude, the fact that we have returning players in a 2-month-old game, I think speaks volumes of itself. I think it really does. Let me know what you think down below, guys. Godspeed out there. Make sure you blow this up, and I'll catch you guys in, I don't know, in something. I don't know.
The trap!